Did you say China? China?
China!
We were losing to China. We want to beat China.
We're leading China.
China and other countries are racing to catch up to America, having to do with AI, and we're not going to let them do it. We have the great chips, we have the great everything, and we're going to be fighting them in a very friendly fashion.
But while the U.S. is doing what it can to protect its lead in the computer race, there's another contest that it may be losing. The battle to make sure we have the power we need to drive all that AI we're developing.
None of this was supposed to happen, that right there. And oil industry insiders are trying to understand how China, which is the world's largest importer of energy, is running at operational surpluses for crude oil. Countries everywhere are racing around for new supplies now that the Hormuz is closed. And energy prices are rising fast, which is also destroying demand. But Chinese policymakers have not yet made any radical moves to slash consumption, which is in stark contrast to other economies here in Asia, in Australia, and in Europe. When scrolling the list of the new nuclear plants coming online, we see China a lot. China is building more than the rest of the world combined. Over the past decade, China increased nuclear power plant construction while the rest of the world slowed down, shutting more plants than they were replacing. And this is an important point. Countries that build plants are always learning new things. China is the only country that never stopped building. And China has learned to build new plants less expensively compared to plants built decades ago. China has a deep pool of people with deep experience, whereas other countries do not. The Chinese can build 50 reactors simultaneously and will be the world's largest producer of nuclear power by 2030 and will double their power capacity by 2040. This is the world's largest offshore wind turbine. It's off of Fujian province in southeast China. It generates enough power for 44,000 households, or over 100,000 people, and displaces 22,000 tons of coal per year. This unit is part of a large farm 30 kilometers offshore where there are already a number of 16 megawatt turbines. And when those were installed, they were the world's largest. It is a breakthrough in engineering that this much output comes from a single turbine instead of a group of them working together. Experts say that will inform future wind farm construction. That's also a region that sees frequent severe storms. This was all hard to do then. And we're curious why the Chinese bothered at all. It required a ship to be specially designed and built just to get the turbine in a position. Having it out there means that China can leave 22,000 tons of coal in the ground they otherwise would have hauled up to the surface and set on fire. But China has a lot of coal and burns more of it than anyone. They could also, obviously, have just installed a bunch more of the smaller 16 megawatt units that they already have a lot of experience with. The point we're trying to make here is that the Chinese engineers went to a lot of trouble in some of the most challenging and complex conditions in the world and transformed this industry's understanding of what is possible from now on. In contrast, consider the direction the United States is going. In December, the Interior Department announced an immediate pause on offshore wind projects under construction in the United States due to national security risks identified by the Department of War. The government found that big turbine blades create radar interference and obscures legitimate moving targets and generate false ones.